Hello there, my YouTube friends. So here we go. Here's the one that we've I'm not being excited for, but I'm hoping might change my mind about it, because like I said, these ones I don't consider them to be Spider-Man in my own thing, because he hasn't got the proper spider suit on. That's the way I've always seen Spider-Man. You gotta remember, I am fucking nigh on 50 years of age. By the time you see this, I might even be 50 years of age, but I'm nigh on 50 years of age. So I remember watching the live action version on the TV, well before any of this live action stuff came out on the cinemas. I remember watching a TV series of live action ones, as well as the cartoons and stuff like that, and this is how I'd just never seen Spider-Man looking like this until the actual movies. So this to me was never Spider-Man. I'm hoping it'll change my mind because of the articulation and stuff like that, because it's supposed to be wickedly articulate. But anyway, the front cover, I'm liking it. It's nice. It's a nice thing, the fact that you've got like this sort of transparent thing there to see what's behind it. It is pretty cool. The box itself ain't bad at all. You kind of going around. Spider-Man written on the side. Your warnings on the back. Spider-Man written on that side. And Spider-Man Homecoming suit written on that side. So, all cool. This thing, I think by the looks of it, just slips up over the top to reveal the full Spider-Man get out, so that's pretty cool. Just push that slightly back so maybe you can see a little bit more. That's quite a cool thing by the looks of it as well. This thing opens up to reveal. And you've also got Mysterio on the inside of the packaging there. And straight away, if I look at that now, the head thingy itself just looks so cheap. But I know that's how it's supposed to be, because it was a homemade suit. It was a cheap suit, something you just threw together. So let's hope it changes my mind, because right now, by the look of that, I'm like, no, that's just not going to work for me at all. It's not going to be something I'm going to enjoy. I do like the look of this thingy here, the actual drone thing, so we'll get the stuff out. I'll put them in the light box, show you what we get, and we'll go from there, guys. We'll go from there. And here's all the accessories you get with it, guys. I mean, there's a good enough amount of accessories. Not millions, but a good enough amount. You've got this sort of very, very flimsy bit of plastic in order to hold these flimsy bits of plastic. And obviously this is meant to be some sort of a backdrop, you can see there, but to me, the way it looks very much like something that you would be from an 8-bit computer game. It's like really sort of just doesn't, to me, look good at all. So there's no way I'll be using that thing. Even if I was to keep the thing out, there's no way I would use that thing, so I'm not even going to get them out and set them up. I mean, it just looks like literally 8-bit graphics. It's like really sort of terrible to me, that. But it's good enough for somebody that might be interested in something like that, but not for me. It's not my thing at all. You have the base itself, nice enough looking base. Again, though, it's like no metal tag on the front, but again, all this stuff I think is from this series of stuff for Marvel. I don't think any of them have got metal nameplates on them, so but this is nice enough. And it's in places it's got like a rough texture to it, so hopefully that might make it so that the feet would stand if you want just to stand him on this itself. It's got the thingy there for your dynamic pull, because it's Spider-Man. A lot of people like to have them in a dynamic pose, and I'm pretty much the same as you've probably seen if you've seen any of my videos of me man cave. So there's your dynamic pull. Cool, still wrapped. And you've got this bit, which is quite a good touch. You have this style here in order to put your drone on. At least I take that's what it's for. That there, to put your drone on. And then you have the waist grabber in order to put Spider-Man in and hold them on top of it if you want them on top of it. So that's pretty cool. You have the usual spare wrist pegs, always good, though I like to say, I've said it many times before, I don't see why you didn't put them in there and you got rid of them. It's done and dusted, you don't have as much hassle. You have a full set, which if you've watched any Spider-Man video from anybody, you know these are what you get in pretty much all of them. That's pretty bog standard. This one is a better one because you can make him look like he's gripping on to this one and he's got a bundle up in his hand, and you've also got these ones which are sort of a slightly different colour, which are a bit different because I don't recall ever seeing those ones in any ones I've had before. So that's a nice sort of addition to it, but like I say, this one's the better one. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then of course you have these different hands. So you have the hand made for gripping a hold of one of them. You can see like sort of fingerless gloves. Nice enough look to the stuff. So you get two of them. You get his hands for that he uses basically for flicking out the spider webs from. Yeah, a pretty decent thingy to them. And then you have these ones that you'd use when he's climbing up walls and stuff like that, you know. There you go. And of course, lastly in these things you have these things, guys, are his eyes. I don't know how well you can make them things use. It's probably homing in on bloody hands and fingers rather than things because they're that small. But you get two different things. You get the wide open ones, you've got sort of the normal style ones on them, and then you've got these very much sort of squinty style eyes, like almost shut. Easy enough to get on and off. You can see, I don't know how well you can actually see that because it's not exactly thinking, but it seems to fit on easy enough. I've had a look at them before, and that's the accessories, guys. That's what you're getting with them. But obviously we haven't showed you this thing. God, how can we miss out on this thing? You can see lots of weathering on there. It's a battle damage. Pretty actually monstrous looking thing. It's just beautiful, that. I mean, this is probably one of the better thingies of what you're getting in here. Though none of these thingies have any movement on them, you know. There's no movement to them. You would think the under barrels of them would have turned and spun because that's what they look like, that spinning type, but they don't. Nothing moves on this at all, which is sort of a crying shame in one part, but I can understand that, you know, you're getting it for the figure more than anything else. So, but that is like really sort of nicely done, you know, so much detail to it, you know, including the back, the underside, everything, you know. You look at it and go, wow. I mean, that is a beautiful piece of work. Yeah, that is like super cool, and to have him sort of standing on that in a Spider-Man pose, I think would look pretty damn cool. So that's what you get, guys. Let's get out the character, have a look at him, see what we think of him, or see what I think of him. Because I know some people are going to love him, some people won't even look at him. Like, you know, what I wouldn't have done in the past, I wouldn't have looked at him. But let's see what happens. Let's see if he changes his mind. I'm not, at the minute, I'm not 100% certain he's going to change my mind. It's not really going to be the one for me. And I'll eventually probably just put him back in his box and get rid of him if that's the case. But you never know. The articulation, and when I see him posed, maybe it'll change my mind. Maybe I'll feel really more thinking about it. We'll find out. Let's get him out and have a look. So here he is himself, guys. Now, through my fucking lens of my camera, he looks bright red and quite a nice vibrant blue and a very vibrant red. To my naked eye, he's washed out. It's not a vibrant red, it's not a vibrant blue. It's a very washed out, very whitened experience. So it's strange seeing it through the camera when I can see it through my eyes. I'm thinking that's just totally different friggin' thingy. if he was as vibrant as that, he would look a lot better. If he's as vibrant as what he is on the camera in real life, you know. And again, for me, it's just, and I know it's meant to be like this, guys, so don't get me wrong, I'm not stupid in that respect, okay, but it just looks cheap, you know. It doesn't look like it's well made, and I know exactly, I know it's how it's meant to be. It's before you started getting your stuff, it's a homemade suit, okay. I get it. It just, I don't know what it is about it. There's just something about it that just doesn't really sort of thing to me. But yeah, it's each to their own. Yeah, everyone has their own thing. Some people may absolutely love it to bits, others may just hate it, and others may be like me, that's like, I'm just not sure. It just doesn't feel to me like Spider-Man, you know. It just doesn't. But let's have a look at the articulation on this guy, because I'm knowing that it's going to be really good with this thing, because there should be no chance of damaging the suit or anything, you know. Let's see, he can look down, that's, look up, it's basically, it's like straight. You can't, oh, you can, there you go, man, look, there you go, see, so you can get his head back quite a nice way. You're going to get pretty much swivel all the way around if you really wanted to. So it is on that weird sort of thing you do it like, and you can get pretty much a decent head tilt for getting really good sort of things. These eyes are just weird to me, really sort of weird, but you know, that's the way it was and that's the way it is. It makes you wonder if there's actually any sort of a head sculpt itself underneath, or if it's literally just sort of a generic sort of non-face, if you understand what I'm saying. The arms will come out there, which is absolutely fine. Come forward. Let's have a look. You might have to mess on with this a little bit to get it there. He comes forward. Your biceps swivel out, you can just see, but I'm trying to get this thing to come forward, because if you bring it forward, it's tend to sort of flick it right out rather than it being close in. It seems to be flicking his shoulder right out in order to get it to come up, but you can pretty much, by the looks of that, get that to go quite a way up, so that's cool. It's just a case of faffing on with it, getting it back. But that, you have got a massive butterfly joint there. That's what I'm saying. You've got a big thing you swivel on the bicep, top of the bicep, massive bend. Yeah, I mean, that is like a absolutely cool bend. They are, from certain angles, going to have that unsightliness there, which is not something I'm never keen on, but it's always good to have a damn good bend on these things, you know. So, and it's going to be a standard wrist peg. You've got to basically manipulate the thing in order to get it to bend in the right directions and what have you. But you can pretty much get anything you want. It's just, you just got to sort of faff on. You're not going to get right close to his sides, which is always a shame, but you're not. It's just one of those things. We have a lovely range of motion on the waist. Move forward and backwards. I mean, you can literally have him, you know, doing his flip type stuff, you know. That is well cool. Really cool for that side of things. It's a shame that they can't make the spider suit so you can do stuff like that without feeling like you're risking them, you know. His leg comes forward like massively. That is a huge amount compared to what you'll get on most other figures. You know, that is pretty much straight forward. You can't really push it much further than that. That is pretty damn cool. And you're not going to get much backwards, but you're still getting a little bit of backward motion on it. Knee joint wise, again, talking the massive double bend on the knee joint. It doesn't look quite as unsightly from the front. It's still a little bit into it. And the ankle articulation, yeah, you've just got quite a massive amount of ankle articulation. You know what I mean? Go far forward, it's going to come. Far down, it's going to come. I mean, you're getting a massive amount of articulation. So that is cool for posing them. Though it's the stability that would worry me after a period of time, is like how stable will the actual ankle joint stay. Yeah, but that is really cool amount of articulation that you get on them. You know, that is mental. amount of articulation you're going to get on this guy, you know. But let's punch in, have a closer look. Like I say, I still can't get over how vibrant he looks through the lens of my camera. My camera is actually really sort of turning the vibrancy up, like almost tenfold, you know. He looks really vibrant red and really vibrant blue. Whereas when you see him in your hand for real, it's washed out. You know, it's a washed out colour, which again, yeah, you can expect because it was a homemade suit. He's probably been through the wash a good few times, you know what I mean, before he'd eventually get himself a proper suit. So let's get in and get a closer look at him, guys. Show you what he's like close up. Start from the feet. Way up, so you can see he's basically got a pair of trainers on, a pair of socks, a pair of this. You can see this is not vibrant up in the colours because the colours are very much washed out and for real. I mean, that spider on there sort of is jumping out at you yet on the. When you look at it, really, it's sort of very washed out, very thingy. The same with that, yeah. There's not much to see, there's not much to thingy here. I'm not keen on the way they sort of stick out, it just looks really sort of strange. But that's the way it is, you know. It's a really good figure if you're wanting something that you can pose up really well. You're onto a winner. Without a shadow of doubt, you're onto a winner if you want something that can pose up really well. But for me, I don't know, it's just, again, like I said here, you know, it was never on my radar, but this thing, when I was checking on eBay, it was coming to near its end and it was like still at a really cheap price, and I thought, you know, it is, for the price that it is, I might as well have a proper look at it and see if it can change my mind, see if it can, but I'm not convinced, guys, I'm not convinced. You know, let's get into a pose and see if any of that can change my mind at all. There you go, guys, there's something. I mean, that's took us a little bit of time to set up. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong. I'm not posing with Peter out there, so I'm not gonna think, you know, I'm the Jetta Patrol, so I'm not gonna get them sort of really good, but I will sort of have a look at somebody's pose and thingies and maybe see if I can get them looking a bit better and see if I can get a really sort of look at me. I like that pose, I think it looks pretty cool, and like I say, the vibrancy that this camera is showing makes it look way better. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I think if you could have a flight stand that's sort of clear, it would be even better. You know, I'm sure there's somebody's managed to learn a way of hiding it, and if I can see somebody else's videos that shows us how they've done it and that, then maybe I'll copy it and see if I feel like keeping a hold of it. Yeah, it does look cool like that on sitting on the thing, you know. That is sort of something that looks pretty damn cool, especially if you can get it in a slightly better pose than what I've got. You know, like I say, I'm gonna have to watch a video and have a look at how some of the people have got it and see if I can imitate their videos, you know, to get it looking a bit better. Yeah, but long term, do I think I'll keep a hold of it? At the minute, I can't see it happening. I really can't. It's just, to me, it's not Spider-Man again. Yeah, so there's a good chance that maybe it'll just be packed up and sold on at some point. But for now, I will sort of set up some sort of pose with it and leave it out for a bit and see if it changes my mind. But like I say, I'm just not holding out any hope of that happening, really. Yeah, like I say, like that, he looks kind of cool. If I can get him in a slightly better pose and make it look even more cool, then maybe it will change my mind. Maybe I will end up keeping a hold of it and just having it sort of put on the shelf somewhere out the way. But he's a cool character, guys, you know, for posability, really mint. You know, you can get some really, I'm going to say, you can probably, if you're good at posing, like posing with Peter and stuff like that, you're going to get some friggin' excellent poses out of this thing, guys, you know. It's a shame some of the other suits aren't made to be as posable and as movable as what this guy is, you know. The fact that you can bend him right back to have him looking like he's sort of jumping and bending backwards over the top of something like what you see in the movies and that, it's like, wow, that's phenomenal what you can probably get out of that thing. Yeah, that is like really sort of a cool point on this character. But for me, it's like, I just don't feel like it's Spider-Man. You know, which is a shame, because this part of the base here is just really cool. you know, really cool. Anyway guys, thanks very much for watching. I hope it's helped some of you out that may be on the fence about it to know my opinions as somebody that was, again, I was on the fence, I wasn't really sure, doesn't really bother at the end of the day. To sort of say it like this, maybe it's changed your mind and made you think, yeah, I definitely want it, or maybe it's made you change your mind and going, nah, definitely, by the sounds of that, it's going to be something I'm not going to really want either, even if it comes up with a decent price. So anyway guys, thanks for watching, I really do appreciate it. This is the Bearded Nerdy Oaf, and until next time, I'm swinging out of here.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.
Thank you?
You're welcome.
What? No. I didn't. I wasn't. Why would I ever say that? I mean,
Okay.